Unlocking Potential: How Society's Outcasts Can Become Its Greatest Leaders. Welcome to a groundbreaking discussion that will challenge everything you thought you knew about leadership potential and societal progress. Today, we're going to explore a revolutionary idea that could transform our communities, our nations, and our world. An idea so powerful, so disruptive that it might just make you uncomfortable. But isn't that where true change begins? And I recently had the privilege of interviewing Kola Williams, a visionary whose life story defies conventional wisdom and whose insights are reshaping our understanding of human potential. Kola's journey from the depths of adversity to becoming a catalyst for change is not just inspiring, it's a wake-up call for society. Kola Williams is more than just a success story. He's a testament to the untapped potential lying dormant in our most overlooked communities. His vision for transforming society by elevating voices from the margins isn't just noble, it's necessary. In a world crying out for authentic leadership and innovative solutions, Kola's approach could be the key to unlocking a new era of social progress. Now, let me ask you a question that might make you squirm in your seat. What if I told you that the next great leader, the next visionary capable of solving our most pressing societal issues, isn't in a prestigious university or a Fortune 500 company, but in a juvenile detention center? What if the mind that could revolutionize our approach to education is currently homeless? What if our most effective community organizers are those who have experienced the harsh realities of street life? I can almost hear the skepticism. That's absurd, you might think. How could someone with such a troubled background possibly lead effectively? But that's exactly the kind of narrow thinking that's holding our society back. Let's confront an uncomfortable truth. Our current leadership model is failing us. We have politicians making decisions about urban poverty who've never missed a meal. We have education reformers who've never set foot in an underfunded public school. We have criminal justice experts who've never felt the cold steel of handcuffs. Is it any wonder that our solutions often fall short? This is where Kola's vision becomes not just compelling, but crucial. He argues, and I agree, that we need to radically rethink our notion of expertise. We need to recognize that some of our most valuable insights come not from textbooks or boardrooms, but from lived experiences on the streets, in foster homes, and yes, even in prisons. Let me share a story that illustrates this point powerfully. Kola told me about a young man named Marcus. Marcus grew up in a neighborhood plagued by gang violence. By the age of 16, he had been arrested multiple times and seemed destined for a life behind bars. But Marcus had a gift. He could connect with other troubled youth in a way no counselor or social worker could. One day, after a particularly violent incident in the neighborhood, the local community center was struggling to keep the peace. They had brought in experts, therapists, even local celebrities to talk to the kids. Nothing worked. In desperation, they asked Marcus to speak. What happened next was extraordinary. Marcus spoke from his heart, from his experiences. He talked about the allure of gang life, the pain of losing friends to violence, the struggle to see a future beyond the next day. The room was silent, every eye fixed on him. By the end of his talk, hardened gang members were in tears, pledging to work towards peace. This is the power of authentic voice, of lived experience. Marcus achieved in 1 hour what teams of experts couldn't accomplish in months. Why? Because he spoke their language, understood their pain, and most importantly, represented a path forward they could believe in. Now, imagine if we could harness this power on a larger scale. Imagine if we had policymakers who had navigated the welfare system, tech innovators who had experienced homelessness, educators who had struggled with learning disabilities. This isn't just about diversity for diversity's sake. It's about tapping into a wellspring of knowledge and experience that we've been ignoring for far too long. But let's be clear, this isn't easy. It requires us to confront our biases, to look beyond polished resumes and prestigious degrees. It demands that we value a different kind of expertise, one forged in the crucible of real world challenges. Kola shared another story that drives this point home. He told me about Sarah, a former addict who spent years living on the streets. After getting clean, Sarah wanted to help others battling addiction. But despite her intimate knowledge of addiction and recovery, she was repeatedly passed over for positions in favor of candidates with formal degrees, but no personal experience with addiction. Finally, one progressive treatment center took a chance on Sarah. The results were astounding. Sarah's approach, informed by her own struggles and triumphs, resonated deeply with patients. Her recovery rates were double those of her colleagues. She could anticipate challenges others missed, could connect with patients in ways others couldn't. Sarah's story isn't unique. Time and again, when given the chance, individuals with lived experiences outperform traditional experts in addressing complex social issues. But here's where it gets really interesting and challenging. It's not enough to simply recognize this potential. We need to actively cultivate it to create pathways for these unconventional leaders to rise. This means rethinking our education system, our hiring practices, our very notion of what qualifies someone for leadership. It means investing in mentorship programs that target at risk youth, not just to keep them out of trouble, but to nurture their leadership potential. It means creating leadership academies in prisons, not just vocational training. I can hear the objections now. But what about the risks? What about the potential for relapse or recidivism? These are valid concerns, but they stem from the same limited thinking we're trying to overcome. The truth is, every leader is a risk. Every person has the potential to fail. But by diversity our leadership pool, by tapping into these overlooked reservoirs of talent and experience, we stand to gain far more than we risk. Let me share one more story that Kola told me, one that I think perfectly encapsulates the transformative power of this approach. It's the story of Jamal, a young man who spent his teenage years in and out of juvenile detention. Jamal was angry, distrustful of authority, seemingly destined for a life of crime. But one perceptive judge saw something in Jamal. Instead of another stint in juvie, the judge sentenced Jamal to participate in a youth leadership program. At first, Jamal was resistant. But as he engaged with the program, something remarkable happened. Jamal's experiences, his understanding of why kids join gangs, his insight into the failures of the juvenile justice system made him an invaluable contributor. By the end of the program, Jamal wasn't just participating, he was leading. He spearheaded a project to create a mentorship program for at risk youth, drawing on his own experiences to create something truly impactful. Today, Jamal is studying criminal justice with the goal of reforming the very system he once despised. Jamal's transformation isn't just inspiring, it's a roadmap for societal change. It shows us what's possible when we look beyond someone's past and invest in their potential. But let's be clear, this isn't about creating a few success stories, it's about fundamentally reshaping our approach to leadership and social change. It's about recognizing that the solutions to our most pressing problems might come from the very communities most affected by them. Think about it. Who better to address the school to prison pipeline than someone who's lived it? Who better to create effective homelessness programs than someone who's experienced life on the streets? Who better to lead community policing initiatives than someone who's been on both sides of the law? This approach doesn't just benefit the individuals given these opportunities. It benefits all of us. It leads to more effective solutions, more authentic leadership, and ultimately a more just and equitable society. But achieving this vision requires more than just good intentions. It requires concrete action. So what can we do? How can we turn this vision into reality? First, we need to actively seek out and amplify these voices. This means creating platforms for people with lived experiences to share their insights. It means valuing their input in policy discussions, in community planning, in corporate decision making. Second, we need to invest in programs that nurture leadership potential in unexpected places. This could mean leadership workshops in homeless shelters, entrepreneurship programs in prisons, policy fellowships for individuals from marginalized communities. Third, we need to challenge our own biases. Next time you're hiring or voting or choosing a community leader, ask yourself, am I overlooking valuable lived experience in favor of traditional credentials? Fourth, we need to create support systems that allow these unconventional leaders to thrive. This means mentorship, mental health support, and ongoing education opportunities. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, we need to be willing to take risks, to give people second chances, to look beyond someone's past and see their potential. I want to leave you with a challenge. Look around your community. Who are the unsung experts, the individuals whose experiences, though painful, have given them unique insights? How can you amplify their voices? How can you help create pathways for their leadership? Imagine a world where our leaders truly represent the full spectrum of human experience, where our solutions are informed not just by theory, but by lived reality, where we tap into the full potential of every individual, regardless of their background. This isn't just a nice idea, it's a necessity. In a world facing unprecedented challenges, we can't afford to overlook any source of insight, any wellspring of leadership potential. The next great leader, the next visionary capable of transforming our society, might not look like what you expect. They might not have the degree you think they need. Their resume might have gaps you don't understand, but they might just have the experiences, the insights, the raw authenticity we desperately need to move our society forward. So I urge you, be open to unconventional wisdom. Seek out diverse voices, invest in unexpected potential, because the solutions to our most pressing problems, the leadership our world so desperately needs, might just come from the last place you think to look. Thank you.